Hello everyone, I hope you're doing alright. Today's video is going to be about how to become a Filet Crochet Pro. I was going through my crochet stuff because me and my boyfriend are moving to a new place, and I came across some of the pieces that I made when I was first starting to learn how to filet crochet, and I was shocked as to how bad they were. And it made me realize that the steps that I took to actually improve the quality of my filet crochet isn't something that I'd necessarily talk about in a tutorial. So I thought I would just sit down today and go through everything you need to know to improve the quality of your filet crochet and become a filet crochet pro. And this is the knowledge that turned my filet crochet from looking like this to looking like this. So whether you're new to filet crochet or you've done that technique for some time now, hopefully you can learn something new and start applying it to your pieces to improve your overall technique. To split up this video, I thought I would first go through everything about materials, then I can talk about the different types of filet crochet, general things that I do in filet crochet to make it look more professional, as well as some next steps that you can take if you've already learned how to filet crochet and you want to take it up to the next level. So let's get into that. First, when we talk about materials, it's probably easiest for me to start with your yarn choice. Most of the time, the filet crochet that you're seeing is using something called mercerized cotton. This tends to be more of a lace weight yarn, so it is really thin, and if you look closely, it's quite tightly woven together, and this is to ensure that when you are using a small hook, you're not splitting your yarn. I would love to give you guys a brand that I really rely on, but to be honest with you guys, this type of yarn is very commonly sold in secondhand shops as well as charity shops. Anytime I see it, I just tend to buy whatever they have just to stock up, but I will put some brands that I have used before and gotten on well with, just in case you guys don't really know where to start. Whilst I'm on the topic of yarn, it's not like a huge determining factor because filet crochet works because you've got a contrast between the solid stitches and the mesh stitches, and this contrast is normally due to the fact that the mesh stitches comparatively look darker. Using a light colored yarn is going to yield the best result. As you can see, the solid stitches kind of are lighter and the mesh stitches are darker, so you can imagine if you use a dark yarn to filet crochet, unless you have a way of making the background lighter, this contrast is going to be hard to see, so that's just something you want to consider. A lot of the time I tend to use cream, and if you guys are stuck for colors, that's probably the color I would go for. When it comes to the hook size that you're going to pick, I am not going to lie to you, you just want to go ahead and pick the smallest hook that you can bear to work with. Again, filet crochet works because there's a contrast between the solid part of the filet crochet and the mesh stitches. And if you're creating those solid stitches with an upsized hook, you're going to have gaps in between the double or triple crochets, and that's going to interfere with this contrast. I know a lot of the time in crochet, we tend to upsize our hook to create something that drapes nicely. So I can imagine if you're thinking about creating a filet crochet clothing piece, you'd kind of have a preference towards a slightly larger hook, but something you have to keep in mind is filet crochet is mostly mesh stitches, and no matter what hook size you use, a mesh stitch is always going to have a nice drape. So there is no benefit to you not using the smallest hook you can bear with. So yeah, I would do that. Just ignore whatever your yarn suggests and pick the smallest hook you can bear to work with. And whilst I'm on the topic of hooks, I'm also going to talk about needles for sewing in ends. Your smartest choice is to pick a sharp, really thin needle, because to create a secure end, you don't only want to go in between the stitches, you also want to go through the actual yarn. And when we tend to sew in crochet, we tend to want to go through just the stitches, so we have a needle with a blunt end. When it comes to sewing in ends, we want the complete opposite. So you want to pick the thinnest, sharpest needle you can bear with. Honestly, sometimes I need to use pliers to sew in my ends in filet crochet, but using a small needle is going to create the most secure end, and it's also going to hide your end the best. If you're thinking about adding a border to your piece, I would sew your end into the border, but if you're not planning on adding a border, I would sew in your end on the wrong side of a solid stitch, just so then you've kind of got more yarn to sew into. That is everything everything I kind of have to say about materials. Obviously, this is my advice. This is not something you have to follow 100% at the time, but if you're a little bit stuck, I really think that's a good place to start. I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the different types of filet crochet because you're going to become a better crocheter if you can do more than one technique. The main one you have probably seen is a double crochet chain 1, which is the easiest to learn as a beginner and a really good place to start. But what you'll tend to see is sometimes the contrast isn't very good just because a double crochet chain 1 mesh stitch creates kind of a smaller hole, which does affect the contrast of your piece. So if you have a graph that doesn't have a lot of detail, this should be fine. But if you've got a really detailed graph, some of the detail might be lost, so maybe it's not the right technique for a grid like that. A double crochet chain 2 is going to have better visibility, so some graphs are going to look better using that technique rather than the double crochet chain 1, but you'll find that when you compare your finished piece to the graph that you're using, your finished piece will be a lot wider and a lot shorter than your graph. So this can tend to distort your design. So if your graphic needs to be proportioned in the way that is represented in your graph, I wouldn't use a double crochet chain 2. A technique that you guys might not have heard of before is a triple crochet chain 2, or some people like to do an extended double crochet chain 2. And this is kind of the best of both worlds. You'll have a more well-proportioned graphic just because the mesh stitches are square, but you also have a lot of contrast because the mesh stitch created by a triple crochet chain 2 is a lot bigger comparatively. So you'll have a larger contrast. So this technique is really good if you've got a graph with a lot of detail, but you want to keep in mind, obviously using this technique, you are using more stitches. So you want to bear in mind that using this technique is a little bit more work, but it's definitely worth it sometimes, and it's definitely my favorite technique. Now, I'll leave tutorials to all of these techniques in the description below, just in case you guys aren't familiar, but to become a really good filet crocheter, I would learn how to do all of them, just because there is the right time to use each one of them, and it's very heavily dependent on what graph you're picking. So yeah, that is just something that I would consider. Next, I want to talk about the general tips and tricks that I've picked up in filet crochet to really level up how your final piece is going to look. One problem I used to have all the time is any point in the graphic that they had a lot of mesh boxes in one row, it would make each side kind of shrink in, and any point in the graph that had a lot of filled boxes would kind of go out a little bit, so my final piece would not be rectangular. And this is because the width of one chain is going to be slightly different to the width of the top of a triple crochet or a double crochet. So you want to get into the habit of creating your chains a little bit looser than you might usually. And you want these chains to be about as long as the top of this double crochet or triple crochet stitch. And that's going to stop your edges kind of going like this. And it's going to make your work look neater as well. This is something that just comes with practice, but obviously you just want to be mindful of this. It is really going to help the overall finish of your piece. My next tip is when you're doing a filled box into chain stitches. So obviously you're working a double or triple crochet into the chain stitch. I used to either work around the whole chain stitch or work just into the front and back loop. Working around the whole chain stitch can look a little bit unneat, and working into the front and back loop is, I'm not gonna lie, it's just really hard, and it really slows down my filet crochet process. And a good middle ground between doing these two things is just working your stitch into the front loop of your chain stitch. This doesn't apply when I'm working into a double or triple crochet, but when I'm working into a chain stitch, working into the front loop not only looks neat, but is a lot quicker than trying to work into the front and back loop. So yeah, if you guys haven't tried that, I would definitely try that. It just makes things a lot easier, and it doesn't compromise the look of your final piece. And finally, no matter whether I'm designing my own grid or I'm using someone else's, I will always pick a grid that has a perimeter of just mesh boxes. Having your graphic within all of these mesh stitches does make it pop a lot more than if your solid stitches are in the perimeter of your piece. Obviously, this doesn't have to be the case 1000% of the time, but it's something that I kind of do habitually, and it does really help my pieces overall. So again, if you haven't tried that, I would give that a go. And finally, I want to talk you guys through the next steps that you can start to make more complex filet crochet pieces. So obviously, as I mentioned earlier, learning to do more than one technique is just going to mean that you can pick the right technique for the grid that you want to make, because as I mentioned before, each one of them kind of has something good about them and something that's not so ideal. Next, you can experiment with incorporating different stitches. Now, there are probably a multitude of different ones that are out there that I haven't heard of, but the main ones that I'm thinking of is the background stitch. I already have a tutorial on how to do this if you guys are interested. I have also experimented with using a diagonal stitch as kind of a bridge in between a solid and a mesh stitch. I haven't done a tutorial on that, but I have included it in one of my videos, so I'm going to leave that linked in the description as well. Incorporating these stitches is a fun thing to learn, but it also creates a piece that's more beautiful, just because it adds another element and just makes it a little bit more interesting to look at. Finally, you can experiment with creating non-rectangular pieces by doing increases and decreases. I also have a video on that, which I will leave linked in the description below. So yeah, if you guys are really familiar with filet crochet and want to start leveling up your skill level, those are kind of the places that I would start. And it's not necessarily something you need to learn, but something that you might want to start incorporating into your filet crochet is doing a border, because even if you're just going to do a border of single crochets, it's going to make your whole piece look a lot nicer. Now, I love a picot border. Again, I have a tutorial, but yeah, especially if your filet crochet piece is going to be a standalone piece, that's something that I definitely recommend you trying. It's just going to make your work look a lot more professional. Right, you guys, that is about it. Before I go, I did want to talk about linked stitches, because that's been something that's been brought up to me a lot in my comment section. I personally don't love linked stitches because they tend to slightly distort where the solid boxes are. This means that your graphic doesn't look as neat. I know people have mentioned there are certain ways around this, but I personally don't like using linked stitches and don't necessarily see a need for them. As I say, downsizing your hook using the right yarn and picking the right technique for the grid that you're following is really going to help contrast. And obviously you go ahead and do whatever you want, but I think just focusing on those things is enough to create a really nice piece. Maybe I'll use linked stitches in the future, but just from my experience now, it's just not really my thing. You guys, I'm going to leave this video here just because I don't want to chat your ear off. And to be honest, I have gone through the main pieces that is really going to make a big difference to your filet crochet piece. If I missed anything that really helps you guys, please leave them in the comment section below. Make sure to like, comment and subscribe, because I post new crochet content every week. I sell my patterns on Etsy and Ravelry, so if you guys are interested in checking those out, I will leave that linked in the description below, as well as the links to my other social medias. Right, you guys, I hope you have a good day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.